So, as I've been saying, a little bit of a different format this week because we've got the midweek game against Arsenal Wednesday night. I'm delighted to say that joining me is Sun Sport news editor, all-round good guy, and big Arsenal fan. It's Dan Cutts. Dan, lovely to see you again, mate. Returning guest on the We Are West Ham podcast. I think last time, I think you'd forgotten, had between 4 to 6 pints when I said, "Are you ready to come on the podcast?" But you showed up and you did it, and I don't think anyone noticed.
No, that's why you've got me on earlier in the day this time, mate, I think, to make sure that I hadn't gone to the pub and forgotten. But yeah, thanks for having me back on, and yeah, happy to be here.
Absolute pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure. West Ham Arsenal is always a big game, always a fixture I look forward to for a variety of reasons. You, like me, no doubt. I've got a few Hammers fans among your friendship circle. Same with me, with Arsenal, of course. But it's got a little bit of added spice this season, not just bragging rights at stake. Some actual Premier League points that mean almost as much to both teams. Arsenal sitting in 6th, just 2 points behind the Hammers. In 4th at the moment, both played 16 games. You're probably, arguably, after a shaky start to the season, in better form. We've had a little dip. You've got all the Aubameyang stuff going on. All in all, we'll get onto that in a bit more detail, but it's the context of the game. It's really shaping up to be a massive game on so many fronts.
It should be a great game. Yeah, you mentioned form. I'm not quite sure the results of. We played quite well in a couple of those games. We were absolutely dreadful at Everton last week and deserved to get beat. It was one of the worst performances I've seen from Arsenal in a long time. And I went to Southampton on Saturday, and they started how they finished at Everton. They were absolutely shocking, and actually they were pretty poor throughout. Arsenal, the score, they should have won by 5 or 6, but that was more the fact that Southampton are really awful. They didn't play that well at all, Arsenal. So the league position's good, and they're, like you say, they're not far off the top 4, but it's going to be a tricky little game for them, actually, because, if they start how they started against Southampton and play it as they played for pretty much the 90 minutes against Everton, it's going to be a bit of a struggle against a really good West Ham side. And I know a lot of my Arsenal mates are very nervous about the game on Wednesday, because it could be like they're not that confident at all. And personally, I'm not that confident at all either, really.
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? I mean, I was at that Arsenal-Southampton game for work on the weekend as well, and exactly how you said, mate. Southampton pressed high early on, didn't they, with lots of energy. Arsenal looked completely rattled, and if it was Southampton were a little bit more sharp in front of goal, they could easily have been in 1-0 up in that early stages. The goal was a little bit against the run of play, just a little bit of a lapse by Southampton when they were pressing, and you did really well to undo them, and it was a nice goal in the end. The second goal, fortune, overhit cross from Tomiyasu. Tierney goes to shoot and weirdly ends up controlling it, and his cross is blocked but sits up perfectly for him to head back. 2 or 3 strokes of luck there, and then it just seemed to knock the wind out of Southampton completely, didn't it?
They did. But they stopped playing. After that.
I wrote afterwards just how there's a feeling, and MIkel Arteta spoke after the game, calling on the Arsenal fans to create like a special night at the Emirates. He was asked, the club are craving like a big night under the lights against a London rival. They're craving like a big game like that, a memorable one, almost like a statement win. And it does feel like that at the moment. You mentioned those results. So you beat Southampton 3-0, lost 2-1 at Everton, lost 3-2 at Man United. 2 teams which, you would have hoped to have got something out of those games. Beat Newcastle at home 2-0. Lost away to Liverpool by 4. That virtually takes you back to beginning in November. It really will. It could be. It feels a bit early in the season to make bold statements like this, but it really could be sort of quite a season-defining game this early on.
I would say so. We'll definitely. I'd 100% agree with that. With the teams that we've gone away, the teams around us this season so far, and we actually played quite well at United, but lost the game. we went away to Liverpool and got absolutely spanked when we were playing. Well, the results, I think we were 10 unbeaten when we went away to Liverpool. We haven't had that sort of, in my opinion, that real statement win, like you say, that the teams around us to go and prove how actually good. I don't think anyone at Arsenal knows how good this team is, to be honest with you, because every time we seem to be beating the teams lower than us and the teams we should be beating, but every time we need to go out there and prove how good they actually are, they seem to, bottles it a bit of a strong word, but they seem to struggle, this team, and it would be not, from an Arsenal point of view, it'd be really nice if they were to go out and, like you say, put on a performance and get a bit of a statement win. The last game I went to that was sort of under the lights, and there was a really good atmosphere actually, it was against Aston Villa a few months ago on a Friday night, and we beat them 3-1, and they were struggling, but they were still around, they were still seen as our level. They spent a bit of money at that point, obviously in the summer, and this was quite a few games before Smith got sacked in the end, and it feels like they need another one of those. Villa, the atmosphere, get the atmosphere going early doors, and and put down a bit of a marker for what's going to be a really tricky Christmas period, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's it. We'll get into we'll look ahead on how you think the game's going to go, styles and all that sort of thing in a while. But the big news, of course, literally coming out today. So me and Dan are having a chat at the moment on Tuesday afternoon, just to give you an idea of where the news cycle's at the moment. So the news come out, obviously, at the weekend. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was dropped from the squad completely for a disciplinary breach. The understanding is, I believe, that he was permitted to go abroad, returned back late, and then missed training on Friday, which has led to him being dropped completely from the squad. On Sunday, stripped of the captaincy, and then, that's the news, obviously, today, that he's been stripped of the captaincy permanently. What did you make of that situation? Sort of, first of all, when it all came out, because it's not the first time he's done it. Was dropped for the North London derby, wasn't he, earlier in the year, for a disciplinary breach as well.
It's been coming well. It's been coming for a long time now. This isn't obviously behind the scenes at Arsenal. There's been a few murmurings between a lot of staff and playing squad, and surprised that he's kept it as long as he has. But this is sort of the tip of the iceberg, really. I think they've decided that it's about time. I think I've seen that he was informed on Monday by the club, him, and then Arteta told him afterwards that he would be stripped of the captaincy. And then obviously, like you say, we're speaking on the Tuesday. He's recently, on Tuesday afternoon, he's recently done his press conference where he's slightly gone into a bit more detail, but not too much. They want to keep it sort of behind in-house. But yeah, there's a lot of unhappy people there with that man. But like I say, it's been coming for a while. And to be honest with you, he only really got the captaincy as a sort of a mate wait for him to stay and sign that new contract. That's my opinion anyway. I don't think that there was any other reason. He doesn't personally feel like captain's material. He's more of a leader by doing. He's a great goal scorer. He's a great player. Don't get me wrong. Like, he doesn't suit. Unfortunately, I think his time at Arsenal sort of up. His style doesn't suit this team anymore. But he definitely shouldn't be captain. And the club have seen it that way as well. And we'll wait to see who gets made his replacement. Personally, I hope it's Kieran Tierney. I think he epitomises everything great about, he's a fan favourite first and foremost, but he is a solid 7-8 out of 10 every game. Yeah. He's British. He's got leadership skills. He's got everything you want in a captain. And he's my pick to be taking over the captain's armband.
I totally agree. I couldn't think of anyone else, to be honest. I've heard a few people shouting Ramsdale, and I understand where that's come from.
He's played 8 games.
Yeah, that's exactly. He's playing so well, and he's so early into it. Yeah. I think whacking that on top of him as well, you've got to give him at least a season of cementing his place, and so that this time next year, there's no doubt. You've just got to let him focus on his football at the moment, haven't you?
I mean,
you saw
him on Saturday, Will. Some of the saves he made again.
I gave him man of the match. Yeah,
I don't think there's a better goalkeeper in the league at the minute than him. Consistently every game making top class saves, and like you say, Southampton started really well on Saturday, and he sort of kept us in it. Really,
he did definitely
to start with. But like you say, he's 8 games in. He's someone. I'm not a big fan of goalkeepers being captains anyway, personally. But he's if they were to do it, he's one in a few years down the line, because he's not going to go anywhere by the looks of things, especially on this current form. But I think Tierney's the one.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a sort of bit of a leadership crisis on the pitch, certainly at Arsenal, for a while. It almost seems a bit of a poison chalice. It was Xhaka crumbled under the weight of it, didn't he? And
got booed off by his own fans.
Yeah, I was at that game as well. Actually, that was fabulous. And it just seems an odd one. But is that the talk at the moment that Tierney is the only place it can really go?
There's a couple of names from what I've been hearing. A couple of surprising ones. So Tierney's the main one. Odegaard's actually been mentioned as well. I think he's Norway captain. Right. So he's young, but he's got that sort of he's got that experience at international level. And then there's been a few other. There's an odd one that's been mentioned is Lacazette, which I think would be more for the experience, but wouldn't go down well with the fan base too well, seeing as how he's pretty much set to leave at the end of the season when his contract runs out. So
who's that, mate? Sorry, crack it up a little bit there.
Sorry, I said Lacazette's one that has been mentioned, but he's meant to leave. He's looks like he's set to leave at the end of the season. So from a long-term point of view, that would be a bit of a bad choice. But there's a few names, but I think Tierney's the sort of big favourite to take over now.
I mean, you have to be, first and foremost, I think, you have to be a guaranteed starter, don't you? Like, we've got Declan Rice as our vice captain, but because Noble, the club captain, is not playing at all, he's captain every week. And Tierney, if you look at your team, such has been the sort of erratic nature of form and stuff this season, that Tierney's the only one who you say, he's guaranteed to play the next 15 games if he's fit, isn't he? Everyone else is kind of, and the keeper, but everyone else kind of can be chopped and changed. But when are you expecting an announcement on that?
I don't know I don't think necessarily who is captain for the game against West Ham will be the long-term captain. I think they might have a little bit more of a think about it. I'd be surprised if that was the case anyway. I think they might go a bit short-term. So Lacazette.
Yeah, he skipped the other
night,
didn't he?
Captain Saturday, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
I think they might go Lacazette again on Wednesday for West Ham, and then go from there and see what the future holds in as the sort of the weeks go on.
Lads, the holidays have come early this year as our partners Manscaped have the gift that keeps on trimming, with a whole host of male grooming products on offer, from the Lawnmower 4.0 to their new refined cologne and everything in between. Manscaped have got everything you need to make sure you're looking more Michael Bublé and less Santa Claus this holiday season. And in the spirit of Christmas, you can get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code WeAreWestHam. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code WeAreWestHam, all one word. Now is the perfect time to get yourself or a loved one the gift of shaving. I am talking about the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. The Performance Package 4.0 is the best in the business. This hygiene bundle includes the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker, a pair of boxer shorts, a travel kit, and liquid formulations.
Yeah, for those who don't know, the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer is waterproof with advanced skin-safe technology to reduce nicks and cuts, and it even has a light to help with all those little dark spots down below. And then there's the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, with its proprietary skin-safe technology that helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs. Also in the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 is Crop Preserver, which is a spray that protects against chafing, the Crop Reviver, which will ensure things down there remain fresh at all times, and then there's the Foot Duster, which will make even the ugliest of feet, like mine, look and smell lovely, and much, much more. And to top it all off, you even get a shed travel bag so you can carry all your precious Manscaped products in style everywhere you go. So to get your hands on the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 and to see all the other lovely male grooming products they have on offer ahead of the festive season, head over to manscaped.com today. And remember, get 20% off and free shipping with the code WeAreWestHam. That's We Are West Ham, all one word. We Are West Ham. It's 20% off, free shipping at manscaped.com. So go on, make Santa proud and cement your place on his nice list this Christmas by joining the Manscaped movement.
Yeah. So one last one then on Aubameyang. Do you expect him to be here or at Arsenal at the end of January? Obviously, he's got that huge contract. And from a personal point of view, what would you like to see happen with him?
Who's going to take him? Well, he's on £350,000 a week in
exactly.
January. There's not a chance, in my opinion, that anyone wants to take that wage on in January, especially in the midst of a pandemic. And we don't know what football's going to be like again. We could go, I mean, you've seen the news yourself, Will. We could go back behind closed doors within the next few weeks again, and the revenue streams go down again. And I just can't see anyone taking 350 grand a week off our hands in January.
For a 32-year-old?
Yeah, exactly. 32? I mean, he's not young either, is he? You don't want to get yourselves in another Ozil situation, though, where you've got a man on huge wages sitting on the bench and it's a massive distraction. But it looks like they've got themselves in another one, Arsenal.
It's only 14 months ago he signed the deal, wasn't it? 14 or 15 months, September 2020.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I would be very surprised if he goes in January, but they'll definitely try and they'll try and find someone for him. And then I think striker will be their number one target next summer.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Well, looking ahead to the game then, big one at the Emirates on Wednesday. Me and you are going together. Both completely nervous that the other one's team's going to win, so we have to find an excuse to leave immediately after the game when we're supposed to be having a social. How do you see it sort of style-wise playing out before we get into score predictions and all that? How do you see the game going, sort of styles from Arsenal's side and then West Ham's, of course?
Well, as we spoke about, it's going to be a really tricky game for Arsenal. I mean, West Ham against big sides this year have been unbelievable. I thought they were absolutely excellent against Liverpool, unbelievable against Chelsea. I know these are home games, but still, it's the style's still there. You'll know better than me, but it feels like you'll try and play that exact same way, whether you're at home or away. And it suits that team perfectly. You've got the best midfielder in the league at the minute, in my eyes. I don't think there's any question about that. I think Arsenal might struggle. I think they might try and start fast, and then West Ham get into it and dominate the last 20 minutes of the first half. And it's how Arsenal deal with that. They're not great. You saw it yourself against Southampton. When the press came on, they weren't great, but they kept trying. And the first goal was actually unbelievably put together once they got round that press. But this was Southampton. West Ham are a totally different kettle of fish now. You're talking about one of the best teams in the league now. I never thought I'd put those words in.
I'm so glad this is recorded.
You never think you'd hear those words, did you? But,
I'm going to send you that video clip every single morning for the rest of our lives.
But you are, and I think Arsenal might struggle, especially if Rice starts dominating and dictating the speed of the game, which he does so well. Because as you know, he can. If he wants to slow it down, he will, and if he wants to quicken it up, he will. And I'm not sure Partey and Xhaka are going to be able to handle him in midfield, but we'll see. So yeah, I think it's going to be a tricky night for Arsenal, a very tricky night.
Yeah, I mean, I went up to Burnley on Sunday, mate. It's an experience I don't want to talk about ever again. But yeah, and 0-0, and it was one of those. Really, I think we should have had a penalty, to be honest. And then we had a couple of like half chances. Nick Pope did okay, he made some decent saves, but it was just one of those games where it was, if we were going to win, it was always going to be a grim 1-0.
Yeah,
and then you're just happy you just got to find it somewhere. We weren't able to. However, like you say, against the big teams, I think we struggle against the smaller teams because we don't care about having the ball. We're quite happy to have less possession. We beat Man United at Old Trafford earlier in the season in the cup, and I think we had 39% possession or something like that for the whole game. We're happy to do that. So
that's
playing against a team like us, exactly.
That's what worries me, is because of the way that Arteta likes to play, which is very dominant in possession. And it's the total opposite of the way that you want to play. You're quite, like you say, you're quite happy to play without the ball. I fear that might play into West Ham's hands.
I do. The thing is, what I think is going to be, I honestly, mate, think it's going to be about 4-4. We've got Craig Dawson and Issa Diop, which are our B team centre backs at the back. They played fine on Sunday, but it's going to be a different kettle of fish against Arsenal. Arthur Masuaku, it doesn't sound like from Moyes' comments this morning that Cresswell's going to be back with the back injury he suffered away at Manchester City, which means Arthur Masuaku at left back, which is not a strong defense. Up against Saka, I don't like those odds at all.
Didn't you just beat Chelsea with this back four, though?
Yes, it was a bit more of a defensive 5. We might even go 5. That's the interesting thing. But we haven't got any. We had Zuma for that, and he got injured in that game. And in fact, we started with a 5. Zuma went off, and then we switched to a 4, and that was when we came into the game and went and won it. So we haven't got enough defenders to play 5. So it'll be 4 at the back with Masuaku at left back, which is just very, very scary indeed. But then, as we've seen this season, Arsenal at the back have got a rick in them. The reason Ramsdale's so good is because he's had to face so many shots, isn't it? That's why he's looking so good at the moment. Well, anyone who plays FPL know that he makes absolutely tons of saves every game, so he gets loads of bonus points. That's because his defence and midfield are leaking opportunities all the time, isn't it?
100%, mate. Like you say, I'd like to see the block shot stats this season from Arsenal, because I don't think one of those centre-halves have got their way in front of a ball all season. It feels like anyway. But there's like you say, there's a reason why he's been so good this season, and it's just because we do leak chances, and like you say, well, I hope from a neutral perspective it is a 4-4, but I hope for my heart's sake and my because I imagine we'll both be having a heart attack if it is 4-4 after 90 minutes. But yeah, it's gonna. I hope it sounds like you're not particularly confident in your back 4 at the minute either, so it could be quite open in that case.
I think the key battles are going to be that Saka Masuaku, and that's not going to be a battle. I think that should be a key area of the pitch, which Arsenal will understandably target, because why would you not? If you're going against Masuaku or Kufau, it's a no-brainer. And I think it comes down to if Antonio can pull his finger out. He's done absolutely nothing the past, I think it's 9 games without a goal now.
Really?
Again, just lolloping around at Burnley on the weekend. David Moyes coming out and saying you can see signs it's starting to click again. He's got to say that because we haven't got any other strikers. So Antonio will play again. And if he just drags himself around, Arsenal away is not a game where you can carry someone like that. We need his, even if it's not what he does on the ball, we need his runs and dragging defenders about to open it up for Benrahma, Fornals and Bowen behind. So, yeah, they're the sort of key areas, I think, which is going to affect the game. I'll be honest, mate. I don't know about you before we do predictions. If you offer me another 0-0, mainly because I haven't had to drive 10 hours there and back to watch it. A little 45 minutes on the train on Wednesday night to meet up with you is going to be far more bearable than it was Sunday. But I would take a 0-0 again now, really.
I'd take a 0-0. I'd take a 0-0 for sure. Absolutely. I think that's a good point for both teams personally, but I think if one of the other was to go away and nick it, I think that takes you into the Christmas period with an absolutely huge boost, and the other team huge deflation. Really, Arsenal have got a lot of fixtures coming up and a lot of tough fixtures as well. Got City on New Year's Day as well at home, which you wouldn't anticipate much out of. Got Wolves at home, I think, in that period, who are playing really well at the minute. We're unlucky not to take something away from City on Saturday. So yeah, there's a tricky period coming up, and this is a period now where they need to get a little run going to take them into the Christmas period and New Year period and into January. And I imagine West Ham feel the same way, especially obviously after a bit of a disappointing result away on Sunday. Was it for you?
Sunday, yeah.
I think if you can come away with 3 points, it would take you into that period with full of confidence. But I take a point. Yeah,
I totally agree, mate. I totally agree. Well, look, I'm looking forward to meeting you at Highbury and Islington beforehand. Whether I'll enjoy the actual game quite as much as the pre kickoff aperitifs, I don't know. But Cutsy, thanks for coming on the show again. It's brilliant to have you back.
No, thanks.
Just give us a score prediction.
2-2.
2-2. Okay, I like the sound of that. Yeah, I'm going to go 3-3 as well. I think definitely going to go goals in my chat.